If you are married to a US citizen, you can apply for a green card right away without waiting for a visa bulletin. If you're applying from within the US and you are a US citizen, your spouse can also file. I know it might sound like a lot, but if you stay organized. To prove your marriage is real, you need to show that
Today we're going to talk about marriage-based green card applications. Before we jump into the details, I want to mention an important point. Entering into a fraudulent marriage for immigration benefits is illegal and can have very serious consequences. All right, our first question is one I hear all the time. How can I prove to a US immigration officer that my marriage is real and bona fide?
to prove your marriage is real, you need to show that you live a life together. Strong evidence includes like having a joint bank account, tax return, and credit cards proving that you share finances together. You should also provide proof that you live together, like a lease agreement with both of your names on it or utility bills. Photos are also a great way to show your relationship, like pictures taken at important events with family and friends. If you have traveled together, let's say, keep your airline tickets, hotel receipts, or travel documents that show both of your names on it. Do not forget about your insurance policies where you name each other as beneficiaries or dependents. All of these pieces of evidence help prove that you have a genuine, committed partnership for the immigration officers.
Do I need to wait for a green card if I'm married to a US citizen?
If you are married to a US citizen, you can apply for a green card right away without waiting for a visa bulletin. But if your spouse is a green card holder, let's say, you need to check the visa bulletin to know when you can move forward with your green card application. So the process and waiting times really depend on whether your partner is a US citizen or a permanent resident.
For a marriage-based green card application, what forms and documents are typically required?
The main form you will need is the Form I-130, which is the petition that essentially tells the government, hey, I'm sponsoring for my spouse. If you're applying from within the US and you are a US citizen, your spouse can also file Form I-485 for adjustment of status along with the employment authorization and travel documents. But if your spouse is outside the country, you will need to use DS forms for what is called consular processing. You will also need to submit an affidavit of financial support to show you can financially support your spouse. And also there's the medical exam report plus your marriage certificate, IDs, passports, and all of the other supporting documents that prove your relationship is genuine. I know it might sound like a lot, but if you stay organized, work with an experienced attorney, and have a checklist, you should be able to keep track of everything.
How long does USCIS take to make a decision?
As lawyers always say, depends. It really depends on how your application package was prepared initially. You need to submit a front-loaded application with everything included in this application and accurate right from the start. Sometimes USCIS may send you a request for additional evidence, which may slow things down a bit, right? But then there's the workload of the particular USCIS office handling your application. Some officers are faster than others. The need for an interview can also impact the processing times. Generally, though, approvals can take anywhere from a few months to a year or even longer. You should always check the USCIS processing times. While the time frame can vary, staying organized and responding promptly to any requests can help speed things up.
So, if I'm approved for a green card, do I automatically get a 10-year card or could it be the 2-year conditional version?
It really comes down to how long you've been married by the time your green card application is approved. If you've been married for less than 2 years, let's say, you will receive what is called conditional green card, which is valid for 2 years. Before that expires, you will need to file a separate petition to remove those conditions and show that your marriage is still genuine. On the other hand, if you've been married for more than 2 years or longer, when your green card application is approved, you will typically get a green card for 10 years.
Got it. So, does the same rule apply if my spouse is a green card holder instead of a US citizen?
The concept of conditional residency based on the length of your marriage typically applies in both situations, right? The main difference is the waiting times. The spouses of a U.S. citizen is an immediate family member, which means they are not subject to annual visa quotas, while the spouses of green card holders usually do.
What happens if my spouse is outside the US?
After your I-130 petition is approved, your spouse will need to go through consular processing. You will work with the National Visa Center to submit the required forms and fees. After that, your spouse must complete the DS-260, which is the online immigrant visa application. Next, you need to have a medical exam done by a doctor approved by the government. After that, you will attend an interview at the US Embassy or consulate in your home country. If you do well in an interview, you will receive an immigrant visa in your passport. A few weeks or months after your arrival in the US, your physical green card will come in the email. And that means the process is officially complete.
If I'm married to a US citizen, can my children be included in my application?
If your children are unmarried and under 21 years old, your US citizen spouse can separately apply for them as a step-parent. You and your spouse need to provide documents that show relationship with the children, like birth certificates, and meet other eligibility requirements. In most cases, your whole family can go through the immigration process together.
What are the most common mistakes?
I often see people make mistakes when filling out their forms, especially with the affidavit of financial support. Many forget important details or do not include the right financial documents. Even minor mistakes or missing documents can lead to delays because USCIS may request for more information. Another common mistake is thinking that they can later provide proof that their marriage is real and bona fide. You need strong documentation like joint financial statements, proof that you live together, and photographs. If you do not show enough about your relationship history, you risk getting a denial or facing more questions from immigration officers. Also, forgetting to bring some original documents to the interview is another mistake. Many people come to their interviews with copies or leave out important papers, which can cause delays or even lead to a rescheduled interview. Another slip: if you are not married to a US citizen but are married to a green card holder, it is important to pay attention to the visa bulletin. Sometimes people forget to check it and they miss their opportunity or create unnecessary delays. Trying to handle the entire immigration process alone can be difficult. It is important to seek help from a professional. Immigration laws can be complicated, and having an experienced attorney can really help. This support can also give you a peace of mind that everything is in order.
What final advice do you have for our viewers?
To make this process easier, you need to prepare and understand what to do. First, know the steps involved. Gather your documents ahead of time and keep track of deadlines or requests from the USCIS. If you have questions, it is best to ask a licensed attorney for help.
Thank you for sharing your expertise with us today. And to everyone watching, if you found this discussion helpful, please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. Let us know your thoughts or if there's anything else you'd like us to cover. And of course, if you have more specific questions, feel free to reach out. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next time.